Stephen, a cardiothoracic surgeon around 45 years old, Matthew, an anesthetist of around 55, and 3 surgical nurses are leaning over the chest of a patient. They are performing open-heart surgery. We follow the surgical instruments as they explore the patient's internal organs. The surgeon's movements are precise, considered. The procedure unfolds in perfect synchronicity. No one misses a beat. The only sounds are the clink of metal instruments, the doctor's breathing, and the electronic beep of the heart monitor. Stephen and Matthew stand at a sink, washing their hands. Their scrubs are splattered with blood. The overhead lighting is harsh. The anesthetist takes his watch out of his pocket and puts it on. The surgeon takes the anesthetist's hand and studies his watch.
Nice watch.
Thanks.
What's the water resistance?
200 meters.
It also has a date display.
Yes, it does.
I might have gone for a metal strap instead of a leather strap.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think I'd prefer a metal strap. I've had this one for years and it's as good as new.
He shows Matthew the watch he's wearing, which has a metal strap. Matthew studies it carefully.
What's the water resistance?
100 meters.
How long have you had it?
9 years. I'm a bit bored of it, actually. I've been thinking about getting a new one for a while now.
Think about it. We can go together to the place where I bought it. If I tell them you're a colleague of mine, a friend, they'll definitely give you a better price. Both the owner and his father have been patients of mine, so I know them quite well. Think about it.
Stephen looks at Matthew's watch again. He smiles almost imperceptibly, and with a nod assures Matthew that he will think about it. The anesthetist leaves the room. Stephen unlocks the door to his office. A small room with 2 chairs, a 2-seater sofa, and a metal locker. He opens the locker, takes off his white coat, and hangs it up. He puts on a blazer and picks up his leather briefcase. Stephen sits in a Burger King waiting for someone. He sips a soft drink. There are barely any customers. It's a slow time of day. On the table in front of him is a small piece of apple pie. Martin, a teenage boy, rushes over to Stephen's table. His face is flushed and his t-shirt is patchy with sweat. Martin, around 15, is dressed like a typical teenager. He has a nondescript face, not particularly likable but not unlikable either.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Did you eat?
I've just had some apple pie.
Do you mind if I grab something to eat before we go? I'm starving.
Sure, no problem.
Are you sure you don't want anything? Chicken wings?
No, thank you. I'm fine. Do you have money? I can give you some.
No, I've got money, thanks. I'll be right back.
The boy leaves. Stephen's mobile phone rings. He switches the ringer to silent and ignores the call. He watches the boy as he waits for his order. Martin comes back. Stephen watches Martin while he eats. The boy eats very methodically. He folds his napkin neatly and puts it to one side.
Did you get a haircut?
Yes, do you like it?
It looks great.
A beat of silence.
Aren't you going to eat your chips?
I'm saving them till last.
Why?
I really like chips. I always save them for last.
I do that too.
Martin finishes his burger, then starts eating his chips. He leaves half of them untouched and pushes his plate away.
Shall we go?
I've got French class in an hour. Will I be back in time?
Yes, definitely. Don't worry.
Stephen and Martin are standing beside the car. It is parked near the sea. The weather is fine, the sea calm. A few people are swimming. The boy takes off his jacket.
Sorry I was late today, Stephen.
It doesn't matter.
I was at a friend's house. He got a new motorbike and I wanted to check it out. He took me for a ride, that's why I was late.
It's fine.
He even let me ride it for a bit.
I hope you were wearing helmets.
Yes, of course we were. We weren't going very fast anyway.
A beat of silence.
I got you a present.
Stephen hands Martin a small box. The boy opens the box. Inside is a new watch. It's the same one the anesthetist was wearing.
I don't know how to thank you. It's really nice. Thank you so much. Can I give you a kiss?
The doctor nods. The boy kisses him and strokes his cheek. He slips the watch onto his right wrist.
Thank you so much.
It's water resistant up to 200 meters.
Fantastic. Does this come off? I'd prefer a leather strap.
It comes off, yes. You can put on any strap you like. But metal ones are more hard-wearing. That's why I got you the metal strap. It's more expensive too.
Yes, thank you so much.
A detached suburban house. Stephen is sitting at the garden table with his two children, Kim, a girl of 14, and Bob, a 12-year-old boy. A hush hangs in the air. The garden is perfectly manicured and the flowers are well tended. The doctor's wife brings out a dish with meat and starts to serve everyone. She is around 40, rather beautiful. Her name is Anna.
Dad, do you remember Claire, my friend from school?
Yes.
It's her birthday and she's having a party in 2 weeks, at her place. She's invited most of the class. Can I go?
We'll see.
Dad, if Kim goes, can I go with her?
I don't know, darling. Your mother and I will discuss it and we'll see.
I say they can go. Claire is a very nice girl. She's the girl we met at the mall with her parents who asked you about becoming a doctor. The one who wants to be a cardiologist.
Yes, I remember.
How was work today?
Fine, how about you?
I've decided to make a few changes at the clinic. I'm going to get it painted, buy a new sofa. I'm thinking of doing it now before my receptionist goes on leave. Did I tell you she's pregnant?
Yes, good for her.
Yes, she finally succeeded. She's thrilled, looking at her son. Look at you, all hunched over. You'll strain your back like that. How many times do I have to tell you? And your hair is practically trailing in your food.
Bob, you promised me you'd get a haircut and you still haven't done it.
I'll get a haircut.
Tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, Dad, after the party.
I like his hair long. He has lovely hair.
What about mine?
You have lovely hair too. We all have lovely hair. And darling, you have to go to the dentist. It's been over 6 months. It's time to get your teeth cleaned again. I'll book an appointment for Friday afternoon. Is Friday afternoon all right? Do you have any appointments at the hospital?
No, Friday after 5 is fine, thank you.
Anna is sitting in front of the mirror, removing her makeup. Stephen is lying in bed in his pajamas, looking at something on his phone. The room is dimly lit.
I bought that dress you liked. I can wear it tomorrow. I can't show it to you now. It needed some alterations. I'm picking it up tomorrow.
The black one?
It was the black one you liked, wasn't it?
Yes. The other one looked great on you too, but I think the black one was perfect.
I'm worried it's a bit too short. I'd like it better if it was below the knee.
You've got great legs. You've got the most beautiful legs of any ophthalmologist anywhere in the world.
Let me think, yes. Of all the cardiologists in the world, there's no doubt at all. You are most definitely the biggest flatterer of them all.
Is that a problem?
No, that's not a problem. And that's why tomorrow I'm going to bake a lemon cake and nobody's going to eat any of it. But you.
Not even the kids?
Not even the kids. Did I tell you about my receptionist?
Yes.
If Kim was a bit more dependable, she could help arrange the appointments at the clinic until Christina gets back.
Kim could handle that just fine.
I don't know. I hope so. Did I tell you, Bob announced me the other day he wants to be an ophthalmologist?
Yes, you did. Bob would be a coal miner if you were one too. Do you mind if I turn the light off?
Anna gets up and kisses him on the mouth for a long time.
No.
They carry on kissing with the lights on. Anna pulls Stephen's pajama bottoms off. Stephen is examining a patient. There is a knock at the door. Stephen's secretary enters.
Excuse me, doctor. There's a boy for you outside. He says it's urgent.
I'll be out in 5 minutes. Tell him to wait.
Stephen sees Martin waiting for him in the corridor. He takes him to one side.
Look, I've told you it's best not to come to the hospital without calling me first.
You're right, I'm sorry. I just wanted to thank you again and show you the new strap I got for my watch. I swapped the metal strap for a leather one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you in an awkward position. Bye.
The boy walks away.
Martin, come here. What kind of strap did you get?
Brown leather.
The doctor hurries after the boy and catches up with him.
Show me.
Martin hesitates at first, then shows him the watch.
It's very nice.
Do you really think so, or are you just being polite?
I really like it. Next time you want to come here, please call me first. You have my number. It's for your own good. I might be with a patient or in surgery or in a meeting. There's no point you waiting around if I can't see you. I'm telling you for your own good.
Okay.
Matthew walks past, holding a patient's file. He comes over to Stephen and puts on his reading glasses.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matthew.
Could you please take a quick look at this?
He shows Stephen the file.
Of course, Matthew. Please leave it on my desk. I'll have a look in a minute.
Martin looks at the anesthetist.
We've got the same watch.
The anesthetist turns to look at Martin, who shows him his watch.
Let me introduce you. This young man is one of my son's classmates. I ran into Martin and his parents at the mall last week. He told me he's very interested in medicine. He wants to be a cardiologist. I suggested he drop by sometime so he can see what being a doctor is really about. Martin, this is Matthew, a great friend of mine and an excellent anesthetist.
That's great. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Stephen, I'm going to leave it on your desk. Let me know when you're ready.
The anesthetist walks off.
I've got to go back in now. We'll talk on the phone to arrange our next meeting, all right?
Okay.
Stephen, dressed in a suit and bow tie, sits opposite Kim. She is doing voice exercises. She exhales slowly, controlling her diaphragm, then takes a deep breath and runs through a series of vocal scales. Bob has just had a shower and is combing his hair very thoroughly and very slowly. Stephen watches his daughter with pride, holding her gaze as she performs her vocal drills. When she finishes, Stephen claps, stands up, and kisses her on the cheek.
I think your breathing has really improved over the last few months.
That's what the choir master said too.
Did you tell him to move you closer to the front?
Yes, I did. He said he'll see what he can do.
Did you water the plants, Bob?
Mom said she was going to water them.
Your mother works very hard. That's why we said it would be nice to help her as much as we can. And we agreed that Kim would take care of walking the dog, and you would take care of the plants.
I'll do the dog and Kim can do the plants.
You're too young to be wandering around at night by yourself.
Thanks for the comb.
You're welcome.
We've got to go.
Tell Bob to water the plants now that the sun has gone down.
I've watered them already. Come on, we're going to be late.
Stephen is at the podium giving a speech. The conference hall is quite evidently full of doctors.
A full 22 years have passed since the German cardiologist Andreas Gruenzig performed the first coronary angioplasty on the 16th of September 1977. Today, that first patient is still alive and well. Dr. Gruenzig, however, had an unfortunate accident and met with an untimely end. In short, he is one of those rare cases where one can say, the operation was a success, but unfortunately, the doctor didn't make it.
Scattered laughter in the audience. The doctor chuckles and takes a sip of water before he continues.
In the 2 decades that have passed since that first coronary angioplasty, many things have changed. The indications for angioplasty are more widespread. Alternatives to the classic balloon method have been developed, and an angioplasty during the acute phase of a heart attack is practically a routine operation nowadays. But now let's touch upon the importance, both for us doctors and for our patients, of the development and use of the stent.
Anna watches her husband with pride. Matthew, sitting next to her, gets up.
I'm going for a cigarette. I'll be at the bar. Come find me when it's over.
Okay.
Stephen is talking to Anna, Matthew, and an elderly man who is holding a flamboyant cocktail.
The guy who made it told me what was in it. I can't remember now, but it's very refreshing. Would you like one?
No, thank you.
Try it. It's really delicious. Use this straw. I haven't touched it.
He hasn't had a drink in 3 years. High GGT and elevated transaminases.
Good on you for not drinking.
Stephen smiles.
Well, I wouldn't say no to a cocktail if you're still offering.
Of course. I'll get you one right away.
I think we should go soon.
It's early.
He's got surgery in the morning and he needs to get some sleep.
It's still early.
We've got surgery in the morning.
Fine. Okay. How are the kids?
They're doing very well. Bob started piano lessons and the teacher says he's really talented. Now we need to buy him one so that he can practice at home, but I haven't got round to it. I'm renovating the clinic. I'm on the phone all day.
Our daughter started menstruating last week.
Great.
Yes. She was a little scared, but she's okay now. You haven't seen her in ages.
Not since last summer. At that school choir concert.
You'll have to come over for dinner one night. You really shouldn't stay late either. Just drink that cocktail you ordered and get yourself home. You have to be at the hospital in 6 hours. Shall we go, darling?
Yes.
Stephen is eating an ice cream with Martin. The doctor stares at the boy's wrist as he eats his ice cream.
You're not wearing your watch.
Yes, I took it off to take a shower and left it at home.
It's water-resistant up to 200 meters.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
If you don't like it, we can go back to the shop and you can choose one that you do like.
No, I really like it. I just took it off to take a shower and forgot to put it back on, that's all.
Martin carries on eating his ice cream. It's quite clear that the subject is closed.
Do you have many friends?
Not that many. I don't think people can have a lot of friends. I mean, it's difficult. The important thing in life is to have good friends, not lots of friends. That's what my dad used to tell me.
Your father was absolutely right.
Yes, I know. I have a very good friend from school who plays basketball. We go and play together sometimes, and a friend who lives in France. I don't see him very often. He usually comes in the summer with his family. He's a great guy, very polite, lots of hobbies. I really miss him. I also consider my mum to be a friend.
I'd like to ask you a favor. Only if you want to, of course. I don't want you to feel any pressure or obligation. It just seemed to me like a good idea, so I thought I'd ask.
He hesitates for a moment.
I'd like you to come by my house one day, to meet my wife and children. I think you'd all get along really well, especially with Bob. They're both lovely kids. I think you'll get along great. What do you think? Like I said, I don't want to pressure you. Come only if you'd genuinely like to.
Martin looks at him for a few seconds without saying anything.
Are you serious? I'd love to come to your house.
Martin enters the front garden of Stephen's house. He is carrying a bunch of flowers and a plastic bag. He rings the doorbell. Anna opens the front door.
Good afternoon. You must be Martin.
That's right. These flowers are for you.
Thank you very much, Martin. Come on in.
Martin goes out into the back garden with Anna. Stephen walks over to greet him.
Hi, Martin. Did you find the house all right?
Yes, it was very easy.
You've met Anna. Now let me introduce you to my children. This is Bob, and this is Kim.
Very nice to meet you. I've brought you some little gifts.
That's very kind of you.
Martin takes 2 small boxes out of his plastic bag and gives them to Bob and Kim. They start unwrapping the presents.
Thank you.
It's a key ring with a musical note on it for Kim, because I know she likes music, and one with a smiley face for Bob.
Thanks.
What lovely key rings. Now let's get a move on and eat before the food gets cold. Are you hungry, Martin?
Yes, I'm starving.
Martin is sitting on the edge of the bed. Bob is sitting next to him. Bob is staring at Martin's shoes, which are identical to his own. Probably another gift from Stephen. Kim is standing by the wardrobe. Martin stares at a photograph of Kim lying on a beach in a swimsuit. A child's leg, probably Bob's, is also visible beside her in the picture.
How long have you been in the choir, Kim?
2 years, since I was 12. Do you like singing?
I love it, but I haven't got a very good voice.
How old are you?
15.
Have you got hair under your arms yet?
Yes.
I just got my first period.
Do you mind if I light a cigarette?
You'd better not.
It's all right. Just go over by the window.
Martin goes over to the window and smokes a cigarette.
Can you sing us something?
What now?
Yes, anything you like.
Kim is embarrassed.
No, I'm not. I just don't feel like it. When did you start smoking?
8 months ago. I was over at a friend's place. It was a party, actually. And we'd had way too much to drink, and a girl offered me a cigarette, and I said, why not? And lit up. That was a mistake. I regret it, but it's too late now. I'm addicted.
Can you show me the hair under your arms?
Sure.
Martin shows Bob his underarm hair.
You haven't got that much. Have you seen how hairy my dad is?
No?
He's got 3 times more hair than you do.
You've got a great body.
Thanks.
An awkward pause.
Do you want to go out for a walk? It's a really nice day.
I'd rather stay here and listen to music.
Bob picks up his headphones and an MP3 player.
Is that my MP3 player or yours?
Mine. You've asked me 1,000,000 times. And don't you dare take this one and lose it as well, because Dad said he's not going to buy us new ones. What kind of music do you listen to?
All kinds.
I'm into metal and punk. What about you?
I think all kinds of music are worth listening to. It depends on my mood and what I'm doing.
Bob puts his headphones on before Martin can finish his sentence.
I'll come for a walk if you like. We can take the dog with us if you don't mind.
I'd rather it was just the 2 of us. I always get nervous around dogs in case they get into a fight with another dog. Separating dogs that are fighting scares me.
Martin and Kim are walking along the road. There is an awkward distance between them and they both stare straight ahead. Martin has one hand in his jacket pocket and a cigarette in the other. Kim walks a few steps behind him, watching him. She picks up her pace and catches up with Martin. She undoes her ponytail and shakes out her hair. Martin is sitting on a bench watching Kim. She stands facing him, singing a song. Martin nods his head in time with the music. Kim sways as she sings, not quite dancing. She holds a lit cigarette in one hand. Martin is sitting on the sofa. Kim sits next to him. Anna, opposite them, is serving lemonade. On the table is a plate with some carrot cake. The dog is staring at the cake. Bob still has his headphones on.
Is this homemade lemonade?
Yes.
It's amazing. My mother makes lemonade too, but she hasn't made it in a while. I'll ask her to make some. I love lemonade.
He drains his glass of lemonade and refills it.
The kids' rooms are amazing. So big and bright. I told Bob to put a pull-up bar in his bedroom doorway. I've got one, and I do a few pull-ups every time I walk past.
That's a great idea.
I don't think so. Pull-up bars in doorways are dangerous. You might fall.
If you attach it to the door frame properly, you won't fall.
Okay, if we get one, we'll ask you to come help us put it up.
With pleasure. You know this whole house is really amazing.
You're welcome to spend the night if you like. We can easily fit a mattress on the floor next to Bob's bed. You can play together in the morning, and I'll drop you back home tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you very much, but I'd rather go home tonight. I don't like leaving my mother by herself. She wouldn't mind if I told her I was spending the night here, but I'd better not.
Whatever you like.
Can I have a piece of cake, please?
Of course you can. What about you guys?
Bob doesn't respond. Anna is in the ensuite bathroom flossing her teeth. Stephen is already in bed.
What a charming boy.
Isn't he?
Yes, very. How did his father die?
Car crash.
You should tell him to come round again.
The doctor's mobile phone rings. He ignores it.
I will. He'll be great company for Bob. I thought next time I could take them both out somewhere, for a bike ride.
Darling, you should get that. It might be the hospital.
Stephen answers his phone. It's Martin. Stephen gets up and leaves the room. Stephen goes out into the corridor. He tries to speak quietly.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, Martin. Has something happened?
No, I just called to tell you I had a wonderful time today.
I'm very pleased to hear that.
Yes, I thought I should return the favor, so I'd like to invite you to dinner. At my house. My mother will be delighted to see you. She hasn't seen you in 2 years, not since the hospital. I asked her if she'd like you to come for dinner one day, and she said she'd like that very much. She'll bake a meat pie.
That's very kind of you. We'll do that someday.
Tomorrow night. I told her already. I've asked her to make meat pie and lemonade. I'll be home by 8:30. Around 9?
All right, around 9.
I can buy some non-alcoholic beers if you like.
No, there's no need.
I'll buy 4, and if you don't drink them, it doesn't matter. My mother will drink them or some other guest another day, so I'll see you tomorrow at 9. Good night and sorry to disturb you. Are Kim and Bob asleep?
Yes.
I'm going to sleep now, too. Good night.
Good night.
Stephen pulls off his bloodied surgical gloves. He washes his hands and then applies sterilizer. Matthew, standing beside him, takes off his disposable hat, gloves, and surgical mask and throws them in the bin.
A friend of mine brought me a huge steelhead the other day. I thought I'd barbecue it. Do you and Anna want to come over for lunch on Saturday?
I'd love to. I'll talk to Anna tonight to check we can make it and let you know.
Does Anna eat fish?
Yes, she does.
I'm only asking because she seems like quite a picky eater.
No, she isn't. She loves fish.
Perfect. Then you must come. Tell her I'll be offended if you don't.
Stephen approaches his car. The car park is fairly dark. Stephen gets into his car and switches on the engine. As he pulls away, he sees a figure moving behind some parked cars. It looks like Martin. He's wearing the same jacket as Martin, but we can't see his face. As Stephen drives towards him, the figure runs towards the fire escape, opens the door, and disappears. Stephen, Martin, and Martin's mother have just finished dinner. Martin's mother is around 45 years old, a little plump, and has a beautiful face. She is dressed rather formally and is heavily made up. The living room is spacious and decorated in a conventional style. Everything is just so. Martin drains a glass of lemonade. His mother clears away the dishes and takes them into the kitchen.
Did you come to the hospital today?
Martin's mother returns.
No, I was at school, then I went to the gym in my French class. Weren't you at the hospital today?
I was, but I was really busy. I just wondered whether you came by and couldn't find me.
I'd like us to watch a film together if you don't mind.
I'd gladly watch a film.
I'm afraid I have to be getting home soon. I can't be out too late. I didn't tell my wife I'd be late tonight, and she might get worried.
You could call her. In any case, if you feel tired, we can stop the film. You can go home and we can watch the rest next time you come.
Please, we've rented my favorite film. It was my father's favorite film, too.
Stephen, Martin, and Martin's mother are sitting on the sofa watching the film. She looks rapt. Martin yawns.
I think I'll go to bed. I'm tired. Besides, I've got to get up early tomorrow to finish my homework. I'm sorry I can't watch the end of the film with you.
He gives them both a kiss and hug.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Sitting on the sofa side by side, Stephen and Martin's mother carry on watching the film for a while.
He really loves you, you know. He talks about you a lot.
I love him too.
Have you been married long?
16 years.
You have lovely hands.
Thank you.
Most doctors have beautiful hands. So white and soft and clean.
Really?
Yes, I remember your hands from back when I used to visit my husband at the hospital. In fact, I even told him about your hands, and he agreed. You're right. He has beautiful hands, he said.
Thank you very much.
Do you remember me coming to the hospital?
Of course.
I was a bit heavier then, and my hair was brown.
Yes.
I got tired of it. I dyed it about a month ago. Did you prefer me with brown hair, like it was back then?
I think it's nicer now.
Yes, I agree. Do you like the film?
Yes, it's good.
It gets better, you'll see. Would you like some dessert?
No, thank you.
Maybe later then. You did eat a lot.
She moves closer to him.
Can I have a closer look at your hands?
Stephen looks embarrassed. Reluctantly, he extends a hand. Martin's mother looks at the doctor's hand. She kisses it momentarily, almost reverently. Then again and again, all over. She sticks his whole thumb in her mouth. He stands up.
Don't be afraid. He's definitely asleep. There's nothing to be afraid of. In any case, he wants this as much as I do, you know.
I have to go. It's late. Thank you for dinner. I have to go. Have a good night.
I'm sorry if I made you feel awkward. I didn't mean to. But I won't let you leave until you've tried my tart. I made it for you specially. It's a caramel tart with custard cream. I'll bring you some now. Please, sit down.
I'm afraid I really have to go. Good night.
The doctor gets his coat and bag and walks out. Stephen walks into his office. Martin is there, sitting in a chair. The doctor is startled to see him. He stands in the doorway holding his bag. Martin smiles at him.
Good morning.
What are you doing here? Why aren't you in school?
My heart aches.
The boy takes off his t-shirt.
What do you mean?
I'm in pain. It's my chest, my heart. I'm worried.
There's no reason for you to be worried.
I'm worried because it's hereditary.
You're too young to be worried.
That's what you said about my father. And he didn't smoke. He ate a very healthy diet. He went swimming almost every day. He should have come out of that surgery alive, but he died. I also smoke. I started smoking recently. It hurts here. I hardly slept at all last night. My mother was terribly worried. I slept in her bed.
Stephen attaches some electrodes to the boy's chest. Martin is running on a treadmill. Wires are attached to his body. Stephen measures Martin's blood pressure while he runs. Martin removes the electrodes from his body and puts his t-shirt back on.
If I had hair on my chest and stomach, how would you attach these?
We'd shave the hair off first.
How long does it take for the hair to grow back?
I don't know. About a month, I suppose.
Your son told me you have loads of hair under your arms 3 times more than I do, and that you have a hairy belly and a hairy back.
I probably do have a bit more hair than you do because I'm older than you, but you'll soon have more hair too. It's all down to hormones.
Can I see? Please, take off your shirt and show me, please.
The doctor hesitates but eventually complies. Martin stares at his body.
Okay, you do have more than me, but not 3 times more. Mom and I thought it would be nice if you came for dinner with us tonight. Then we can watch the rest of the film. Is 9 good for you?
Thank you very much, but I'm afraid I can't make it tonight. I need to be home.
Can't you get away for a couple of hours?
I'm afraid not. Some other time.
My mother will be upset. I'll tell you a secret, but don't tell her I told you. I think she likes you. I mean, she's attracted to you. She says that's not true, but I'm sure of it. And to be honest, I think you're perfect for each other. You'd make a great couple. She's got a great body. You've seen that for yourself. She lost weight, and now she has a really lovely figure.
Your mother is very beautiful, but the idea that she and I could ever be together is ludicrous. Let me remind you that I'm a married man and I love my wife very much and my kids, and that we are very happy together.
The boy looks at Stephen half sad and half angry. Tears well up in his eyes.
And for your information, you're absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with you, but you really should stop smoking. Do you promise?
So we're okay? There's nothing wrong with me?
You couldn't be healthier. Now you better go because I'm late for my rounds. Let's talk tomorrow or the day after and arrange to meet again.
Stephen heads towards the door.
I want you to buy me a motorbike. A white Honda CRF 250, will you?
We'll talk about it next time we meet.
Stephen and Matthew are standing over the steelhead trout. Matthew is gutting the fish. Stephen watches him, drinking ginger beer from a bottle. Martin is sitting by himself. He has finished his meal and is staring out the window. The doctor is clearly late. The boy checks his watch. He stares out the window again. His phone rings.
Yes. Where are you? I called you 100 times. Didn't you see my calls? Yes, I'm here. I've eaten already. Sorry I didn't wait for you, but I was starving. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't? I got you an apple pie. At least come for a bit. You have to come. I've been waiting for over half an hour. Come for a bit. I can come closer to where you are. Where are you? Are you at the hospital? I'll bring you the apple pie.
A beat.
What's so important? An operation? Are you at the hospital? What sort of incident? Not tomorrow, now, not tomorrow. I can't tomorrow. I have to study. Now. Listen to me. Just a minute. Where are you?
Another beat.
He looks annoyed.
Matthew is grilling pieces of trout on the barbecue. The garden is immaculate. At the back of the large suburban house is a wooden deck. Anna is helping the anesthetist's wife, Mary, a woman of around 55, to set the table. Stephen emerges from the house and sits in a chair. He looks ill at ease. He picks up a glass of wine and holds it in his hand but doesn't drink.
Where were you?
I was inside making a phone call.
The fish is almost ready. Pass me a plate.
Do you need a hand?
No, that's okay. I forgot to tell you. I saw that boy yesterday, your son's friend.
Martin?
Yes, right, Martin. I couldn't remember his name.
Where did you see him?
At the hospital. He was hanging around beside your car. It looked like he was waiting for you. I said hello, but he pretended not to see me.
That's impossible. It can't have been him.
Maybe I was mistaken, but it looked a lot like him.
You should go see Anna and get your eyes checked. Take my piece off the grill, will you? I don't like it overdone.
Stephen is sitting on the sofa stroking the dog. He is eating a sandwich. He feeds the dog some ham. The door opens and Kim walks in.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, darling. Where have you been?
Choir practice.
Have you eaten?
Yes, I ate earlier.
You don't have to take the dog for a walk. I took him out already. We got back a little while ago.
Okay.
She puts her bag down by the door.
Dad, do you know who I saw today?
Who, darling?
Martin.
Martin who?
Martin. That boy who came over the other day, the son of your ex-patient. He brought me back from choir practice on his friend's motorbike. He's really funny. I laughed so hard my ribs hurt.
Yes, he is very funny. Kim, I don't want you riding on motorbikes without a helmet.
I was wearing a helmet. He gave me his.
Why didn't you ask him to come in?
I did, but he was in a hurry. He had to get home. Where's Mom?
She's taking a shower. Is there something you need?
I'm going up to bed.
She kisses Stephen and leaves.
Good night.
Martin is standing on the pavement opposite Stephen's house. He watches the house with a blank expression that betrays no emotion. He is holding a helmet under his arm. His friend's motorbike is parked beside him. It's a red Honda CRF. The light in the living room goes off. Stephen, Anna, and Kim are having breakfast. Bob is not there. Stephen seems agitated.
Good evening, Anna Murphy Eye Clinic. How may I help you?
Good evening. I'd like to make an appointment.
When for?
Certainly, of course. When would you like to come in?
Certainly. When would you like to come in?
Today, it's urgent.
Today is impossible.
Anna, please describe your symptoms. Then you come and talk to me, and I tell you whether it's urgent or not. Meanwhile, you ask them to hold while you check to see whether any appointments are available.
Did you wake up, Bob?
I did. He just likes lying in bed for a bit before he gets up. Leave him be. Should I squeeze some more orange juice?
He'll be late. Have you seen the time? The school bus will be here any minute.
Stephen gets up and goes to get Bob out of bed. Bob is sitting on the edge of his bed. As soon as his father enters the room, Bob turns to look at him. His face is pale. He looks a little frightened.
Robert, do you have any idea what time it is? Get up and get dressed.
I can't get up.
You have 10 minutes to get washed, dressed, and eat your breakfast. I'm not going to drive you to school, and neither is your mother.
I can't get up.
Bob, get up and get dressed and stop messing about.
Stephen goes to leave the room.
Dad, my legs, they're numb. I can't move them. I can't stand up.
Bob is on the verge of tears. The garage door opens automatically. Stephen lifts his son into the car. Anna helps him. She closes the back door of the car and then gets into the driver's seat. Stephen lifts Bob out of the car. He puts a hand around his shoulder and practically carries his son into the hospital. Anna follows them inside. Dr. Andrew Nichols, a neurologist, is examining Bob. The boy is lying on a hospital bed. His shoes are off. Stephen is sitting in a chair watching the whole procedure. He tries to crack a joke to reassure his son.
I hope you washed your feet yesterday, Bob, because Dr. Nichols punishes boys who don't wash between their toes. He gives them injections with big fat needles.
Bob's feet are just fine, and he has lovely hair, and he is very brave. He's all grown up now. You know I had long hair when I was little too, just like Bob.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yes, really, only mine was curlier. Now then, Bob, I want you to tell me where you are.
I'm at the hospital, in the neurology department.
That's absolutely right. And what day is it today?
Thursday.
Okay, then. With this pin, I'm going to touch the soles of your feet and all your toes. I want you to tell me if you can feel it. Don't be scared. I'm not going to prick you. I'm just going to touch you. Okay?
Bob nods.
Perfect.
Bob can feel the pin under all his toes.
Perfect. Now look directly into my eyes for this one. As soon as you see a finger move, point to it.
The neurologist spreads out his hands and fingers. Bob looks him in the eye without moving his head. Dr. Nichols moves a finger on the left, then a finger on the right, then both fingers together. Bob points to the correct fingers every time.
Okay, good. Now I'm going to test your sensations. I want you to tell me if this feels the same on both sides.
He touches Bob on the left and right cheek, the left and right ear, the left and right temple. Bob nods each time.
Now close your eyes as tight as you can. Okay. Show me your teeth. Okay.
Anna is waiting in the corridor. Stephen and Bob go up to her. Bob is limping a little, but he can walk.
What happened?
Everything is absolutely fine.
Andrew gave him a thorough neurological examination, and he passed with flying colors. It's nothing. You two go home and we'll talk tonight. I won't be late. My schedule is pretty light today, okay?
Maybe he should have an MRI.
There's no need to bother with all that. He just got scared, that's all. He's absolutely fine. You're absolutely fine, aren't you?
Yes.
I think there was probably some test at school today that we weren't very well prepared for.
Yes, and he preferred to spend his day at the hospital with Andrew and us. Let's go.
Dad, aren't you going to show me your office?
Another time, darling. I have to go down to the operating theater right away.
Stephen kisses his son and walks away.
I have to go. See you tonight. Call me if you need anything. Bye-bye.
Bye, darling.
Anna leads Bob away. Anna and Bob are walking towards the exit. The moment they step outside, Bob collapses to the ground. His mother bends down and tries to lift him up. She calls for help and 2 nurses rush over. They lift Bob into a wheelchair. Bob is lying inside an MRI machine. Stephen and Anna watch from behind a glass window. Dr. Nichols is taking notes. Bob is sleeping. Anna sits beside him. Stephen stands talking to Matthew. There is a second bed in the room, but it is empty.
You don't have to operate tomorrow. Cancel everything.
No, why would I cancel? The schedule would go haywire. There's no need. Anyway, it's nothing.
The door opens and Dr. Nichols walks in.
Any news, Andrew?
MRI and MRA both fine. Blood work came back good. Cardiogram, chest X-ray and carotid ultrasound all clear.
I told you, I knew it.
Thank goodness for that.
Has he been under any psychological stress lately? Exams at school, maybe?
Yes.
No, he wasn't stressed. He was just fine. He's always a bit anxious, but that's just the way he is.
In my opinion, he should stay in tomorrow as well, so that we can keep an eye on him.
Maybe we should give him a PET scan.
I don't think there's any need for that, do you, Andrew? Tomorrow he'll be well enough to walk all the way home.
Yes, I don't think that's necessary at this point. Let's see how things are tomorrow and take it from there. There's nothing to worry about, in my opinion. You go home and we'll speak tomorrow. I'll be here all day. Anna, it was great seeing you, even under these circumstances.
And you, Andrew, how's your daughter?
She got married last year. I'm a grandfather now.
Give her my love.
I will. Good night.
Goodbye, Andrew. Thanks for everything.
Do you want me to let them know that you won't be operating tomorrow?
I said no, don't go on about it.
That won't be necessary, Matthew. I'll come in the morning. I won't go into the clinic. I'll bring him those cinnamon donuts he loves so much.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Martin is riding his friend's motorbike. Kim sits behind him holding on tight. Neither of them are wearing helmets. Martin focuses all his attention on the road. Tears are streaming down Kim's face, but it's impossible to tell whether it's from the wind or if she's crying for some other reason. Anna is watering the plants. Kim comes out into the garden.
Where were you?
At Claire's. Is Dad asleep?
Yes.
How's Bob?
Bob is absolutely fine.
Kim looks at her mother for a while without saying anything.
How are you?
I'm fine. How do you mean?
Are you tired?
I'm absolutely fine. A little.
Okay.
See you in the morning. Oh, and...
Kim walks away without answering. Stephen, dressed in his white doctor's coat, and Anna, holding a box of donuts, are walking down the corridor. It is rush hour at the hospital. They both greet various people as they walk along.
Did he go to the toilet? Did he get up?
He hadn't when I passed by about an hour ago. He didn't want to.
He didn't want to pee, or he hadn't got up?
He didn't want to pee.
Could he get up?
He was asleep. I didn't want to drag him out of bed.
They stop outside the door to Bob's room. Stephen and Anna enter Bob's room. Martin is already there, sitting next to Bob's bed. Martin stands up.
Good morning, Doctor. How are you, Mrs. Murphy? I just came by to see Bob. Kim told me what happened.
Hello, Martin. How nice of you. Hi, darling. Good morning. Did your friend Martin come to see you?
Bob does not reply.
I'll leave you alone now so that you can spend time with him, too. I have to go anyway. I'll come by and see him again some other time, for sure. I offered to help him go to the toilet, but he didn't want me to, and he wet the bed. I brought some lemonade. Mum made it yesterday. Try it and let me know what you think.
Thank you very much.
Anna goes over to Bob.
Darling, do you know what's in this box?
What?
Cinnamon donuts, that's what.
Martin goes over to Stephen. Anna pulls off the sheets and folds them up.
I'll be in the canteen. Come whenever you can.
I don't think I'll have time today, as you might imagine. We'll talk some other time.
No, today. Come to the canteen, just for 10 minutes. Don't stand me up like last time. Goodbye, Mrs. Murphy. Bye, Bob.
Martin leaves. We hear Anna saying goodbye as we watch him go. Martin is waiting in the hospital canteen. Stephen appears. The canteen is packed with doctors, nurses, and patients seated at the tables.
Coffee, apple pie?
I've only got 10 minutes. I have to be back upstairs in 10 minutes, Max.
Okay, I'll get straight to the point. I've brought you a present. You've given me so many presents, and I've never given you anything. I thought that was rude of me, so I decided to make amends. Close your eyes.
Stephen does not close his eyes.
Please close your eyes.
Stephen, losing patience, closes his eyes. Martin places a small box in his hand. Stephen opens his eyes and sees the box.
It's a Swiss Army knife. The boy puts his hand over his mouth, mortified. I shouldn't have told you that. I messed it up. I ruined the surprise. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, Martin.
What an idiot.
It doesn't matter. Thank you very much.
A paramedic approaches the doctor.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Hello, Justin.
I got the car secondhand, but still blue. I couldn't find it in silver.
That's great. You'll have to take me for a ride in it soon.
Yeah, sure. See you later.
The paramedic walks away.
That reminds me. Did you do anything about that motorbike I wanted?
Martin, I have to get back upstairs.
All right. I won't keep you much longer, even though you are devoting less and less time to me lately. But that's okay, I understand. I just wanted to say one more thing. I'm really sorry about Bob.
It's nothing serious.
No, it is. That critical moment we both knew would come someday. Well, here it is. The time is now. You'll see, things will be better for us all after this. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. Listen, Martin, I don't have time for this. I have to be upstairs.
Stephen stares at Martin in silence. The boy looks around to make sure nobody can hear them, that nobody is sitting too close.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this as quickly as I can so that I don't hold you up, since I get that you don't have much time and you have to go back up to the ward. I will make myself as clear as possible. Yes, it's exactly what you think. Yes, that's it. Just like you killed a member of my family, now you have to kill a member of your own family. To balance things out, understand? I'm not going to tell you who to kill, of course, that's for you to decide. But if you don't do it, they all die. Bob will die, Kim will die, Em will, and so will your wife. They will all get sick and die. 1. Paralysis of the limbs. 2. Refusal of food to the point of starvation. 3. Bleeding from the eyes. 4. Death. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not going to get sick, don't worry. You just have to stay calm, that's all. There, I said it as quickly as I could. I hope I haven't kept you too long.
Stephen stares at Martin in silence. He is clearly furious. He picks up his mobile phone and keys.
Get up and get out of here, and don't you dare come back or call me ever again. Now, before I hit you.
All right, I'll go. I have to go anyway. I have French class to get to. I was leaving anyway, but don't get angry. There's really no point getting mad at me. I told you, this will do us all good. You'll see.
If you ever come anywhere near me, my wife, or my children again, I will kill you, I swear.
But how will you kill me? Oh, wait, I have an idea. Why don't you operate on me?
Several people turn and stare at the doctor. Stephen gets up and leaves. Martin calls after him.
Do you know if Kim's going to come by today? If she does, tell her I'll be outside at the main entrance. I'm going for a cigarette.
2 security guards escort Martin out of the building. He heads towards the exit without putting up a fight. He glances over his shoulder and then walks out, zipping up his jacket and smoothing down his hair. Anna is sitting on the empty bed next to her son's bed. She is reading him a book. Stephen comes in and sits in a chair. He is restless.
Has he eaten?
No, he's not hungry.
What do you mean he's not hungry?
He's not hungry.
Stephen takes a donut out of the box. He reaches over and puts it near his son's mouth.
Come on, darling, eat a donut.
I don't want it, Dad.
You do, but you're afraid that your mother and I will tell you off for eating donuts. Come on, eat it. You have my permission. You have our permission. It's okay for him to eat a donut, isn't it, Anna?
Yes.
You heard your mother. Eat it.
He prizes Bob's lips open and shoves the whole donut into his mouth. Anna gets up and pulls Stephen away from their son.
Leave him alone. He doesn't want it now. He'll eat it later.
Stephen does not back down. He gestures for Anna to sit back down.
That's right. Chew it a bit. Now swallow.
Bob spits the donut out.
Leave him alone. He said he doesn't want it now.
He's going to eat it right now. He's completely run down. That's why he keeps falling over and crawling around on all fours. He's going to eat them, all of them. In 5 minutes flat, I want to see this whole box empty.
Stephen storms out of the room, slamming the door behind him as he goes. Stephen, Anna, Dr. Nichols, and the hospital director are discussing Bob's case. A female doctor is standing beside them along with Matthew. They have spread all of Bob's test results out on the desk. The hospital director studies the test results thoroughly, in silence.
He stopped eating today. He keeps vomiting.
The hospital director looks up at Anna and then looks back at the test results.
Some of the tests need to be done again, in my opinion. They haven't found anything. It's not possible.
It's been less than a day since his last tests. I don't think the results will be any different.
To be honest, I think what we have here is a clear case of some psychosomatic disorder.
I'm inclined to agree with Anna.
What do you mean? Shouldn't we rule out all possible causes before we resort to the easy option of a psychosomatic disorder?
I think with psychiatric treatment and psychological support, everything will be fine. He will walk again and eat just fine.
Of course he will.
Anna, if Bob was short-sighted or had a cataract or glaucoma, then your opinion really would be valuable. But thankfully Bob's eyesight is perfect. And I can honestly say that if he ever needed glasses, you'd be the first person I'd consult. But right now the boy can't eat and is paralyzed in both legs, so I'm afraid I'm not remotely interested in your medical opinion.
Nobody says a word. Anna opens the door and leaves the room. Kim puts on lipstick and brushes her hair in front of the mirror. She then sprays herself with a little too much perfume. Kim and Martin are sitting on the bed, kissing. The bedroom lights are on. Music is playing on the computer. Kim's bed is made. Martin touches her breast.
Are you on your period?
No, if you're hungry, we can order something later. My parents will be home late, and they've left me some money.
I'm not hungry.
Kim stands up, strips down to her underwear, and lies on the bed beneath her swimsuit picture. Martin smiles.
You are the prettiest girl I've ever met. Your mother is making a big mistake not trusting you to work at the clinic. A huge mistake. I'm afraid I have to go.
Why? Stay a bit longer. We can listen to some music.
I can't, Kim. It's late.
Are you mad at me because of my dad?
Don't be stupid. I'm not mad at you at all. And I thought I'd made myself clear. I don't feel angry at him. I feel sorry for him. I have to go because it's late, that's all. It's as simple as that. Don't be annoying. I thought you understood.
I'm sorry, Martin. I love you so much.
He hugs her but does not say it back. Anna is marching angrily down the corridor. Stephen follows her, holding a file of papers.
I'm sorry about what happened in there.
It doesn't matter.
I'm just so exhausted and stressed and...
It's okay.
You go home. I'm staying here.
What do you mean?
I'm going to give him all the tests again, every single one of them. I'm staying here. Go home.
Let's go home and we'll talk it over again tomorrow.
Just go. Go to Kim. She's by herself. I'll come later. Go.
Good night.
Anna stands there watching Stephen as he goes back towards the patient's ward. Stephen pushes Bob along in a wheelchair. Bob looks groggy. He's half asleep. Stephen marches manically up and down the hospital corridors. Stephen takes blood from Bob. He gives the blood sample to a nurse. Bob is lying inside the MRI machine. He disappears into the machine as Stephen watches. Tired but wired, Stephen stands next to a doctor who is giving Bob an abdominal ultrasound. Stephen pushes Bob back to his room in the wheelchair. Bob is shattered, so is Stephen. Abruptly, Stephen stops pushing the wheelchair, lifts Bob up with both hands, puts his arms around him and walks him down the corridor, with the drip trailing behind them. Stephen lets go of Bob and he falls to the floor. Stephen picks him up again. He kneels down in front of his son.
Bob, why don't we play a game?
What game?
I'll tell you a secret. Something I've never told you before. And then you'll tell me one. And whoever tells the best secret wins. Okay? When I was your age, I'd just started masturbating. And I'd only just started ejaculating. Only a little. Barely a drop.
Bob stares at his father, dumbstruck. An awkward silence.
I don't know. I don't have one.
That's impossible. You must have one.
I don't.
Bob, if all this is just an act, you should know that if you tell me now, I won't punish you and neither will your mother. We won't be angry with you either.
It's not an act.
But if it is an act, and you don't stop this stupid joke right this minute, your punishment won't just be no TV for a month. I'll take my electric shaver, and I will shave your head, and I will make you eat your hair. I mean it. I will literally make you eat your hair. I'm not kidding.
It's not an act.
Stephen puts Bob back into the wheelchair in silence. Stephen is asleep at his desk. His hair is tousled and his tie is undone. The door opens and Anna walks in. Stephen wakes up. Anna hands him a takeaway coffee. They don't say anything. Stephen has nothing to report.
I brought you a clean shirt.
She takes a shirt out of her bag and hangs it up inside the locker where Stephen keeps his lab coat.
Thank you.
Anything to tell me?
Stephen shakes his head.
Hungry? Want me to bring you something to eat?
No, thank you. Maybe you were right. Maybe it's all psychological.
Everything will be all right. You'll see. Trust me. We're in this together and everything will be all right. Let's go and get you something to eat and some fresh air, and then we'll go up and see the little one.
Kim is singing in the choir. A middle-aged man, the choir master, is conducting the orchestra. Suddenly, Kim falls down. At first, everybody around her carries on singing. As fear ripples through the choir, everyone gradually falls silent and the music stops. The choir master rushes over to see what has happened. Anna is sitting outside Bob's room crying. Matthew hugs her. A nurse comes out of the room pushing a food trolley. Kim and Bob are lying in adjacent beds. Stephen is feeding Kim pieces of fruit. Kim spits them out. Bob watches them, slowly opening and closing his eyes. He looks as if he has just woken up. Their dinner plates lie untouched on trays.
Dad, I don't want any fruit.
Just one bite for me.
Kim chokes and her face flushes. She spits out the piece of apple that Stephen has fed her. A nurse inserts nasogastric feeding tubes into the noses of both children. Kim has calmed down, but looks exhausted.
I want to sleep.
All right, darling. What are you going to wear to Claire's party? Did you decide yet?
No, I'm tired, Dad. Switch off the light.
Stephen goes to turn the light off. He spots a new MP3 player on the bedside table.
Where did you get this? Did Mum give it to you?
No, Martin did. He made me a playlist with some songs that he likes, that we both like.
When did he give you this?
I don't remember. Good night, Dad.
Good night.
Stephen sits in his car, thinking. He opens the car door, gets out, and walks quickly and angrily across the road. He is outside Martin's house. He sees a light on in the living room. The TV is blaring. Stephen goes up to the front door and rings the doorbell frantically. Nobody answers. He bangs on the door with his fists.
Open the door. I know you're in there. Open the door or I will smash it down. Martin, open the door or I will smash it down and I will fuck you and your mother just the way you wanted.
Stephen tries to break in through the balcony doors but doesn't succeed.
If anything happens to my kids or my wife, you'll die in prison. Do you hear me? You'll die in prison.
Anna is sitting on the steps outside the hospital. Stephen stands beside her. He appears rather sheepish and speaks in a low voice. He avoids looking Anna in the eye.
How old was his father when he died? Had you been drinking that day?
He had an arrhythmia, a stroke, and that was it.
I asked whether you'd been drinking, not how he died. How long has this been going on? How long have you been seeing this boy?
About 6 months.
Where were you meeting?
What does it matter?
Where were you meeting him?
At a Burger King. Then we drive to the seaside. He's got issues. Serious psychological issues. He always did. I knew he acted weird sometimes. But now he's lost it completely. He's become dangerous. We have to take precautions. Go to the police and take some precautions.
You're not going to the police. You're not going to tell anyone. There's no point. We'll wait and see. Had you been drinking when you operated on his father?
Only a little. That had nothing to do with the outcome. A surgeon never kills a patient. An anesthetist can kill a patient, but a surgeon never can. For example, Matthew has made mistakes that led to the death of a patient, but I never have.
Anna turns her head away. She doesn't say anything.
I think Bob is a little better today. He seemed in a better mood and he wasn't so pale.
Anna does not respond.
Why didn't you tell me you were seeing him?
At first, I didn't see him that often. It was only recently that we started meeting more regularly. I was going to tell you at some point. I felt sorry for him. I gave him some money. His mum is out of work.
I'm going upstairs.
Anna gets up and leaves. Stephen stands there for a while, alone with his thoughts. Then he follows his wife into the hospital. Stephen takes a shower. Stephen sits on the edge of his bed, naked and numb. His gaze is vacant. He looks completely blank. The room is relatively dark. The curtains are drawn. Stephen stands up and hurriedly gets dressed. Stephen emerges from the front door of his house and finds an envelope on the doormat with his name written on it. He opens the envelope. Inside is the watch he had given Martin, with a note. One of the watch straps is missing, snapped off. Stephen looks inside the envelope for the missing piece of leather, but it is not there. The note, written in very neat handwriting, reads, "Time shows no mercy. By the way, you were right. Metal straps are better. Leather straps break." Anna is sitting next to Bob's bed. Kim is lying on her back on the other bed. She is playing a game on her mobile phone. Her legs are covered from the knees up with a sheet. Her toes are pointed. Exhausted, Anna rests her head on the metal bed frame. She strokes Bob's legs.
When are we going home?
Tomorrow or the day after. We'll get all our tests done, and when the doctors say so, we can go home.
But you are doctors too. Tell them we can go home.
We'll tell them, darling.
Kim interrupts the conversation.
Mom, did Martin come by while I was sleeping?
Anna stands up and looks at her daughter.
No.
Can you turn me onto my side, please?
Anna goes over, turns Kim onto her side and returns to her chair. Kim has her back to her mother now. They cannot make eye contact.
What time is it?
9.
Is Dad here?
No, he'll be here soon. Would you like me to fetch you some juice?
No, don't go anywhere. Stay here.
Silence. Kim's phone rings. She picks it up.
Good morning. How are you? Aren't you coming by? Okay, just my mom. My father will be here soon. Yes, you're here? I can't... Are you coming up to see me? You really think that's possible? Well, let's see. Okay.
Kim's toes uncurl. Her legs slowly start to move. Kim pulls herself up and sits on the bed. She then stands up and walks over to the window.
Martin? Yes, I stood up. Yes, thank you. Can you see me? Yes, I'm at the window. I'm standing at the window. Can you see me?
Kim waves with her right hand. Then she smooths her hair down with both hands.
I can't see you. Can you see me? I'm waving at you. Can you see me waving? Great. Yes.
Anna gets up and walks over to the window.
Mom, I want to stand up like Kim. Why can she get up and I can't?
All right, I'm going back to bed now. I'm lying down now. Okay. Thank you. Me too. Next time you come, call me first so that I'm not sleeping. I'll tell them. Me too. Bye.
As Kim lies down, her legs seize up again and her toes curl back into the soles of her feet. Anna looks out of the window. She scans the people in the street, but she cannot see Martin. Bob falls out of bed.
Mom, I'm coming over to the window.
Anna rushes over, picks Bob up, and puts him back into bed.
You'll be able to soon, my darling. Kim is older than you, that's why she can do it. Soon you'll be strong enough to stand up too.
Anna turns to look at Kim, who has her back to them and her face pressed up against the window.
Who are you talking to?
Martin, he sends his regards.
I don't want you talking with him ever again.
Why?
Because I said so.
Kim does not respond.
Did you hear what I said?
Fuck you.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Yes, you did. What did you say, Kim?
Anna grabs her daughter with both hands and shakes her hard. Kim cries out in pain.
Mom, let go. You're hurting me. I didn't say anything.
Anna lets Kim fall abruptly back down on the bed.
I'm not like your father. You better watch your mouth. If that's the way you want it, I'm confiscating your phone right here and now. That'll teach you to be rude to your mother.
Give me my phone back, please.
You can forget it.
A long beat of silence.
Don't be scared, Mom. Don't get hysterical. It's not that tragic. Sometimes your body hurts from not moving and you can't sleep, that's all. The important thing is to make sure you have everything you need within reach. That's all. You'll see. You won't be able to move either, but you'll get used to it.
Anna stares at her speechless, and her anger morphs into fear. Anna is talking to Stephen. She is upset. He hugs her and tries to calm her down.
You're tired. Go home and rest. I'm here now.
I'm not tired. I'm telling you the truth. I really saw it happen.
It was just a coincidence.
How can it be a coincidence? How come neither of them have been able to get up and walk until now?
Darling, listen to yourself.
I saw it.
Okay, it just means things are getting better. That's all it means. That Kim is getting better. Go home and rest for a bit. Please.
They're not better. They're worse.
This afternoon there'll be an emergency meeting of the medical board. Andrew and I took the initiative of inviting 2 outstanding specialists from the Presbyterian University Hospital of Columbia. They've already arrived from New York, and I'm meeting them this afternoon to brief them about the case. One of them is actually a personal friend of the director, Dr. Johnston. You must have heard of him. He's the best there is when it comes to paralytic disorders.
Yes.
Anna is driving. We can sense that contradicting thoughts are going through her mind. Anna pulls over outside Martin's house. She looks at the house, trying to figure out whether anyone is home. She takes a deep breath and gets out of the car. She hesitates for a moment, looks around, then carries on walking up to the front door of Martin's house. Martin opens the front door. He is home alone. He is wearing a t-shirt and boxer shorts and holding a plate of spaghetti. His hair is wet and freshly combed.
Good evening. I'm not sure if you remember me.
Of course I remember you. How are you? Come in.
Thank you.
Anna sits on the sofa. Martin brings her a glass of iced water.
Thank you very much. I'd like to have a talk with you. I won't take up much of your time.
Of course. I've only got 10 minutes because I have to get to my French class. What's up?
My husband told me about you and your father.
Martin puts his plate of spaghetti down on the table. He looks at Anna and smiles faintly.
Did he also tell you about my mom?
No.
I'm sorry, then maybe I'm not the one you should hear it from. Ever since your husband killed my father, he's been flirting with my mother constantly. To be honest, she has feelings for him, too. She really likes your husband's hands, and the truth is, he does have very beautiful hands. All doctors have nice, clean hands. You see, now that we only have each other, my mother and I are friends, and we tell each other everything. So I told her that I have no problem if she wants to go ahead with it, and anyway, he seems like a nice guy. Why would I stand in the way of her trying to get her life back on track? I mean, I'll be gone in a few years. I'll get a job and I'll be gone.
Look, if my husband made a mistake, if out of negligence or I don't know what, he somehow caused this tragic thing to happen, I don't understand why my children and I have to pay the price.
Martin picks up his plate of spaghetti.
Not long after my dad died, someone told me that I eat spaghetti in exactly the same way he did. Told me what an extraordinary impression this fact had made on him. Look how the boy eats spaghetti, he said. Exactly the same way his father did. He sticks his fork in and twirls it around and around until the spaghetti is all twisted up, and then he puts it in his mouth. At the time, I thought I was the only one who ate spaghetti like that. Only my dad and me. I realized later, of course, that everyone eats spaghetti that way. They all stick their fork in and twirl it around.
Martin stands up.
I was really upset when I realized that, maybe even more upset than when they announced to me that he was dead. I don't know if what is happening is fair, but it's the closest thing to justice I can think of. But enough chit-chat. Time's getting on, and if I'm late for class, I'm done for. You have a good day. You.
The medical council is underway. Anna, Stephen, Matthew, the hospital director, and Dr. Nichols are all present, as are the visiting consultants. Anna looks defeated. She sits in a chair with her arms folded and watches the proceedings without saying a word. We cannot hear what is being said. We watch the scene unfold through a window. The hospital director is saying goodbye to the visiting consultants. Stephen and Anna also say goodbye. The consultants get into a car and drive off. The hospital director gives Stephen a hug and pats him on the back.
So I don't see any reason for the children to stay in hospital.
You mean you think you've done everything you can?
Yes, Stephen, I believe we have done everything we can.
Sorry, but if I was running this hospital, I would feel like a complete failure. A loser. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
The hospital director looks at Stephen, then walks away.
Good night, Anna.
Good night, Ed.
Anna looks at her husband.
I suggest you sign the release forms tomorrow and then they can go home.
Anna marches angrily along the corridor. Stephen follows, trying to catch up. Suddenly, Anna falls over. Stephen panics. Anna gets back up.
I tripped. It's nothing. My shoelace was undone. I tripped.
She gets up and carries on walking, leaving Stephen standing there. She is almost running. Anna is sitting at a table, waiting. The cafeteria is almost empty. It doesn't seem like the kind of place where Anna would normally choose to go. She is well dressed, but looks drained. Matthew comes over to the table. He kisses Anna on the cheek and sits opposite her. She wavers for a moment before she starts speaking.
Good evening, Anna.
Good evening, Matthew. Sorry to bother you.
It's no bother, really.
As I said on the phone, I'd rather Stephen didn't find out about us meeting like this.
He won't. I'm listening.
4 years ago, you were operating as a team, weren't you? 4 years ago, you were the anaesthetist on some of Stephen's operations.
Of course.
Were you the anaesthetist for Jonathan Lang?
Matthew leans back in his chair and pretends rather unconvincingly that he is trying to place the patient's name. The waiter arrives with the coffee that Anna has ordered. Their conversation is interrupted.
A gin and tonic, please. Who's Jonathan Lang?
Male, 46 years old, one of Stephen's patients. He died on the operating table.
Anna, there have been so many patients over the years, so many operations. I don't remember him, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
Can you find his file in the records and bring it to me, please? I'll give it straight back to you. I just want to have a look at his medical history. And the cause of death.
I don't think that will be possible. I'm sorry, Anna. I can't just take a file from the hospital. Why do you need it?
Please.
Look, I can't bring you the file, but I can tell you a couple of things about the case. I remember him now. I put him under. But what do I get in return?
What you didn't get that day we came for lunch.
When?
Now. Had Stephen been drinking?
Yes.
Can it be considered his mistake?
Yes, it definitely wasn't mine, that's for sure. You know an anaesthetist is never to blame for the bad outcome of an operation. The surgeon is responsible. He'd had 2 drinks that morning before we went in to prepare. Luckily, none of the others realised I was the only one who knew. But that wasn't exactly unusual back then. You know that. He was drunk during almost every operation.
Do you remember Lang's case history?
Matthew leans forward in his chair again and rests his arms on the table. Matthew's car is parked on a deserted road on the edge of town. There are no pedestrians and very few cars. Anna stares straight ahead as she jerks off the anaesthetist. He pushes his seat back to the reclining position. As soon as he comes, he pulls the chair forward, starts the engine, and they drive off. The front door is open. The children are being carried into the house with the help of 2 paramedics. Stephen seems fairly optimistic as he manically rushes about, supervising the procedure. Kim's bedroom has been rearranged to accommodate both the children's beds. The room is bright. The curtains have been pulled back to let in the sunlight. Anna changes the feeding solution in Bob and Kim's leaven tubes. Stephen and Anna are having dinner. He is the only one eating. Anna toys with the wedges of potato on her plate with her fork. Stephen watches her intently, trying to get a reaction, but she remains stubbornly silent. Stephen fills Anna's glass with wine. She does not say thank you.
This meat is delicious.
His wife does not respond.
You were right after all. The children are much better off here. I was even thinking we might take them to the beach house for a few days. A little fresh air and a change of scenery might do us all good.
Anna looks up and stares at her husband, as if she were observing him for the first time.
One of these days you're going to have to go into their school and excuse their absence. They want you to sign some papers. They've called lots of times.
I will. You know what I've been craving? Mashed potatoes. Why don't you make some tomorrow?
You've got beautiful hands. I'd never noticed before. Everyone's been telling me lately what beautiful hands you have, and now I can see it for myself. Nice and clean. But so what if they're beautiful? They're lifeless. Sometimes, Stephen, you're just an incompetent man with hands that don't move who just goes on and on saying stupid things. Let's do a scan. Let's do a gastroscopy. Let's make mashed potatoes. Let's wear brown socks. Let's go to the beach house.
Excuse me?
Our 2 children are dying in their beds, but yes, I can make you mashed potatoes tomorrow.
Please don't talk to me that way.
If you don't like it, why don't you go and live with Martin's mother? I bet she'd talk to you nicer.
Stephen does not take the bait.
You wanted the kids to come home and they're home. What else do you want me to do?
Do something to put an end to all this, that's what. That's what I want. Can you do that? You do realize, Stephen, that we've ended up in this situation because of you?
So what do you suggest? Tell me. Oh wait, I know. I've got it. There is a way that we can put a stop to all this. All we need to do is find the tooth of a baby crocodile, the blood of a pigeon, and the pubes of a virgin, and then we just have to burn them all before sunset. Let me see. Do we have any spare teeth lying around?
Stephen starts opening cupboards and flinging packets of food onto the floor.
Teeth? Pubes? Nope. Nothing in here or here. Nothing in this box either. Where are they? I was sure they were here somewhere. I put them here myself. Who keeps moving things around? Unbelievable. I don't suppose you've got any pubes I could have by any chance? Oh, I forgot. You don't have any left. We don't have any of the things we need. Well, that's a shame. I guess there's nothing I can do.
Stephen stalks out of the room. Stephen is setting the alarm clock.
There's no need for us to argue. Everything's so difficult already, there's no point making it worse. If he was telling the truth, wouldn't you be sick too? Wouldn't you be paralyzed already? How do you explain that?
Yes, you're right. Let's wait a bit longer until we're all dead, and then we'll see what you can do about it. There's really nothing to worry about.
A short, awkward beat of silence.
Go to the hospital tomorrow and pick up some feeding formula for the children. We're almost out.
Okay.
Stephen turns to look at his wife. Anna turns out the light. Stephen lies beside her in the darkness with his eyes wide open. Stephen is standing in the middle of the room, smoking. He is alone. He sits in an armchair. After a few moments, he stands up again. Taking care not to make any noise, he picks up his car keys and coat and quietly shuts the door. Anna is lying in bed with her eyes open. Stephen enters the room. He stands beside her. He sits on the edge of the bed and takes her hand. She does not react.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you get any sleep?
What time is it?
8:10. Get up and come with me for a moment.
Anna gets up. Stephen and Anna head down to the basement. Stephen unlocks the door. They enter a fairly large room full of random garden furniture. It is dark and dirty. The light goes on, a small bulb that faintly illuminates the space, and we see Martin huddled in a corner. He is sitting in an old armchair. His feet are bound together with gaffer tape, and he is chained to a pipe in the corner of the room. His hands are tied in front of him. Martin's face is bloodied and swollen. There is a rifle on the table. Anna looks at Martin and then walks over to the table. She turns to face Stephen. Anna does not move. She looks at Martin. Martin looks up and holds her gaze. It's hard to tell whether he is angry or afraid. He raises his hand and wipes some blood off the side of his mouth.
You remember Martin, don't you? He came over for a play date, but I told him the kids are feeling a little unwell, so he'll just have to wait here until they get better. Anna, go upstairs and make me some of that lemonade he likes so much, would you? I'll stay here and keep him company. Off you go.
Anna hesitates and then leaves. She closes the basement door behind her. We hear her footsteps on the stairs.
Let me go. My mother will be worried sick.
Do you think your mother is proud of you, Martin? Do you think she is happy that her beloved son is a murderer?
Murderer? There's no need for such a dramatic, sensational, old-fashioned word. But if you insist the murderer, both in my father's case and our current situation, is not me.
Stop talking.
Don't you understand that you're wasting time? You don't have much time left.
I said stop talking.
Stephen, you'll feel better once it's done. You can start over, a clean slate, don't you get it? Sometimes I think you might just be a fool who can't understand the significance of the gift I am offering. Sometimes I think you're naive, but you can't be. You're a good scientist, you can't be an idiot. If I'd only just met you, I'd seriously question the depth of your judgment.
Stephen strikes the boy across the face. Martin grabs his hand and holds it tight.
Don't move. I just want to give you an example, that's all. I'll give you one little example so that you understand what I mean.
Martin bites Stephen's arm. Blood trickles down his hand. Stephen screams.
Should I apologize? No. Should I stroke your wound? No way. That would probably hurt even more, touching an open wound. No. There's only one way to make you and me both feel better.
Martin bites his own arm and spits out a small piece of flesh. His face is contorted with pain, but he doesn't scream. He tries to remain composed.
Do you understand? It's metaphorical, my example. A metaphor, it's symbolic.
Anna is scrubbing the blood from the back seat of Stephen's car. The dog watches her, but she doesn't pay him any attention. We hear a muffled gunshot. The dog starts to bark. Anna opens the door. Stephen has shot Martin in the leg. He is still holding the gun and pointing it at Martin. The boy writhes in agony.
Shut the door, Anna. Now, Martin, you'll see what it's like to die. What it's like when your head cracks open and your brains are blown out.
Anna.
Stephen, don't shoot him.
And then?
Shut up.
Shoot me, then what? Answer me.
I'll bury you in the garden and you'll decompose. That's what.
You won't be able to explain it. You won't understand how it could have happened. You'll say, but I only killed one person. How come 4 people are dead? I only shot 1. You'll get confused and you'll start counting again. 1, 2, 3. But the numbers still won't add up. If you dig a hole in the garden, better make it a big one.
Stephen walks over to Martin and puts the gun to his head. Anna walks up behind Stephen and tries to take the gun out of his hands. At first, Stephen doesn't let go, but Anna whispers something in his ear and he releases the gun. Anna calmly takes the gun and walks out of the room. Bob is lying in bed. Kim is sitting in a wheelchair looking out the window. She lights a cigarette and smokes it. She coughs a little. Bob winces in pain.
Does it hurt?
No, just a little.
Just be patient. Dad's bringing us some painkillers.
A beat.
I know.
He didn't kill him.
How do you know?
I just do. Anyway, he did the right thing. Otherwise, it would have been like killing 4 people with a single shot. Wouldn't that be tragic? I'm going to live with Martin.
A beat.
I want you to know that I'm really sorry, Bob. I really love you. We all do. Dad does too, but he's in a really difficult position and he doesn't have much of a choice. It's not because he doesn't love you.
They've bought me a piano. Mom told me it'll be here next month. They didn't tell you so you wouldn't get scared.
Bob, something terrible happened yesterday. I lost the MP3 player that Martin gave me. I don't know what's gotten into me. I've lost 2 MP3 players in 10 days. So I'd like to ask you a favor. Can I have your MP3 player when you're dead? Please. Please. Please.
Bob drags himself over to the desk. He struggles to open the drawer and takes out a pair of scissors. Stephen gives the dog some food and water and watches him eat. He notices some blood on his hands and goes over to the sink to rinse them. Bob enters the room. He drags himself along the floor. He has cut his own hair. His face and hands are covered in hair. A leaven tube is inserted into his nose and he is holding a bag of feeding solution. The dog starts to bark as soon as he sees Bob.
Look, Dad, I cut my hair like you wanted me to.
Good boy, well done.
I'm sorry I didn't listen to you and get a haircut right away. I don't know what I was thinking all this time. I would get so hot, and I had to comb it all the time. It was a total hassle. I should have listened to you and cut it off sooner.
Bob drags himself over to the French windows and tries to open the door.
Do you want me to water the plants?
Stephen goes to him and hugs him.
No, darling, I watered them this morning. Tomorrow.
Dad, I've been thinking about it and I've decided I want to be a cardiologist, not an ophthalmologist. I lied to Mom because I didn't want her to get upset. I think I prefer what you do. It's far more interesting and challenging.
That's true, Bob. But some people find ophthalmology more interesting.
No, not to me it isn't.
Stephen lays his son in his bed. He tucks him in and strokes his hair. Stephen is huddled behind some flowers. He is sobbing. Eventually, he pulls himself together, wipes his eyes, and walks towards the house. He closes the French windows and switches off the living room light. Stephen is waiting outside the headmaster's office. The headmaster's secretary ushers him inside. Stephen gets up and enters the office. Stephen is sitting in a chair, signing some papers. He gives them to the headmaster.
That's quite all right. I understand. Thank you very much. They're already much better now that they're back home. They're having daily physio. We go for walks together every day. They walk slowly, of course, but they are walking, and they've already started eating properly. However, I must inform you that they will need to be off school for a little while longer. Thank you very much. But as you know, both my wife and I are doctors, and we are quite able to judge when our children are ready to return to school. I'm very optimistic. Everything will be fine.
Stephen gets up to go.
Generally speaking, if you had to compare the two children for some reason, which of the two would you consider the better student? What about their behavior in class? Do you especially like one of them more than the other? If you had to choose between them, which would you say is the best?
The headmaster considers his response for a long time. He doesn't know what to say. Stephen has put him in an extremely uncomfortable position. Stephen stares at the headmaster intently, as if his response has enormous significance. He thinks about it some more.
Never mind, have a good day.
Stephen leaves the headmaster's office. Anna unlocks the door and enters the room, holding Bob in her arms. Kim drags herself along beside them. Anna has brought some gauze and disinfectant to change the wound dressing on Martin's leg. She washes off the dried blood, then kisses both his bare feet. Martin just looks at her. The children watch the procedure from a distance.
Thank you for bringing them down. I really wanted to see them. I really wanted to see you. Hi, Kim. Hi, Bob. Come over here and let me give you a kiss.
Kim hobbles over to Martin. He kisses her on the lips. Bob doesn't move.
Bob, aren't you going to come over and give me a kiss? No?
Bob.
Bob struggles towards the door.
It doesn't matter, I understand. You're a man. You are the man of the house now that your father isn't home. Now go back to bed. Don't trouble yourselves any more for my sake. Take them away.
Anna carries the children out. She leaves the door open.
Anna, if you're going to do something, you need to do it fast. The boy is about to die.
Anna emerges from the bathroom wearing her bathrobe. She lies on the bed next to Stephen, revealing parts of her naked body. She kisses Stephen's hand.
You do have beautiful hands.
Stephen does not react. Anna.
Stephen, please don't kill me. Deep down, I know you won't do that because you love me. But I'm saying this now because you're upset and might make the wrong decision. If you have to kill someone, the logical thing, no matter how harsh this may sound, is to kill a child. Because we can have another child. I still can, and so can you. And if you can't, we can try IVF. But I'm sure we can.
Stephen says nothing. He switches off the bedside lamp.
Go to sleep.
Martin is lying in a corner of the basement. The key turns in the lock. The door opens and Kim drags herself into the room on all fours.
They're all asleep. We can go now and nobody will notice. All you have to do is help me walk again. My legs hurt after all this time and I feel weak. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. I knew at some point this would all be over and you would come. I thought we could take your friend's motorbike and go away together. But you have to make me well first. Okay? I'll untie you if you promise I'll get better and we can run away. Okay? It's not working. I still can't walk. You have to try harder. Martin, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf? I'm telling you, you have to try harder.
Kim grabs at whatever is in reach and starts throwing random objects at Martin. The noise wakes Stephen up. He turns on the light and gets out of bed. He rushes out of the bedroom. Stephen comes in to check on Kim. Her bed is empty. She has removed her feeding tube. Her mobile phone is on the desk. Stephen and Anna search for Kim all over the house, both indoors and outdoors. Stephen notices the basement door is open. He goes into the basement and looks around. He goes over to Martin and hits him.
Where is she?
She's gone.
Where is she? What did you do to her?
I didn't touch her. I don't know where she is.
Stephen runs out of the room. Anna is driving very slowly along the road. Stephen walks in front of the car. The high-beam headlights illuminate the road. They scan the street for any sign of Kim. Stephen is anxious, out of breath. He glistens with sweat. They find Kim dragging herself along the pavement. She tries to cross the road. Her hands and knees are covered with blood. Stephen is treating his daughter's wounds. He puts disinfectant on her cuts. He sews up a gash on her knee. Anna, standing beside him, passes Stephen the medical instruments.
I'm sorry for what I did tonight. I don't know what came over me. I don't know what I was thinking. I was only thinking about myself, no one else. That was wrong of me. I was frightened, terrified. I shouldn't have been. You are my lords, my masters, and I am just someone who lives to obey your wishes. I love you so much, don't forget that. Remember that when I'm in my grave, unable to tell you that I love you. I love you more than anything in the world, you and my brother.
Stephen finishes dressing his daughter's wounds. He kisses her almost on the mouth and caresses her. Anna leaves the room, taking the bloodied gauzes and cotton wool with her. Anna is sitting in a chair. In front of her is a glass of water. She takes a sip and then puts the glass back on the table. Classical music plays from a radio on the kitchen counter. Stephen walks into the room.
Where have you been?
I went to the hospital. I got the feeding formula. Have you checked on him? Did you give him the sedatives?
I let him go.
What are you talking about?
He's not downstairs. I let him go.
Why would you do that?
He hits Anna around the head.
Why did you let him go? Tell me, are you a complete idiot?
Anna walks away. The dog follows her. She stops and turns to face Stephen.
It wouldn't have made any difference, Stephen. It wasn't going to solve anything. We both know that.
Anna sits on the edge of Bob's bed. She has a wash bowl next to her and cleans Bob's limbs with a cloth. She has her back to Kim, who is sitting on her wheelchair beside the bed. Kim is holding her drip. She starts reciting the phrases that her mother has taught her to say when she answers the phone at the clinic.
Please describe your symptoms. I see. Would you be so kind as to hold the line while I check the doctor's availability? Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. The earliest the doctor can see you is next Thursday. Are mornings or evenings more convenient for you? Mornings are better, I see. Next Thursday at 11 then. We'll be expecting you. Good day. Anna Murphy. Eye Clinic. How may I help you?
Kim, I'm trying to rest. Can you please be quiet?
Mom, do you remember when I was rude to you at the hospital that day?
Yes.
Did you tell Dad about it?
Of course I told him, Kim.
I didn't mean it, Mom. Maybe it was a side effect of the drugs or something.
Kim, please, I'm trying to rest.
Do your legs hurt? Do they feel numb? Does your back hurt? Has it started?
Anna gets up and slaps Kim. She wheels her out of the bedroom and closes the door. Anna is asleep. Stephen is sitting on the edge of the bed. He stares at the wardrobe for a long time. Then he gets up and goes over to his wife. He stands over her. He looks at her. His gaze is fixed on her, wondering whether he should kill her or not, whether she should give her life to save the children or not. He takes a step backwards. He looks at her for a few more moments.
Dad, quick, Bob's dying.
Bob is listening to music on his MP3 player. His eyes start to bleed. Blood trickles down onto the pillow. Bob wipes the blood from his face. We hear his sister's voice, but we cannot see her. Bob is lying on his bed. Stephen wipes the blood from his face and removes the blood-stained pillowcase.
Dad, who's your best friend?
I don't know, Bob.
Is it Matthew?
Yes, Matthew is a very good friend of mine.
I have 3, 2 boys and a girl from my class.
That's great, Bob. It's good to have lots of friends.
I think Mom considers Matthew a very good friend, too.
Yes, that's right.
He used to call Mom a lot. Once he called the house and I picked up and he said, "I'd like to speak to Anna, please." I recognized his voice, but I didn't say, "Hi, Matthew." I just said, "She's not here right now. Can I take a message?" He came over to the house one time, too, when you and Kim were out, so I guess you wouldn't remember.
Stephen undresses Kim. He then dresses her up in the outfit she had chosen to wear to Claire's party. Lying in bed, unable to help with this awkward procedure, Kim avoids her father's gaze. Bob is already dressed up. He sits in his wheelchair, watching them. Stephen enters the bedroom. Anna is frantically making their bed. She doesn't seem to notice him. Stephen approaches Anna and stands in front of her. She stops, startled.
Bob is bleeding. Come to the living room.
Now?
Yes, now.
Stephen?
Yes?
Where are the children?
They're already there.
I think I'll wear that black dress you like.
Wear whatever you like. Just hurry.
Stephen leaves the room. Kim is sitting in a chair in a corner of the room. Anna is standing by the wall, near the French windows. Bob is on the sofa. He can barely sit up. They all look terrified. Their feet are tied with rope and their mouths are taped. Stephen is standing in the middle of the room. He looks at each of them in turn. They form a triangle around him. He puts on a black balaclava that covers his entire face so that he can't see anything. He raises the rifle. Stephen starts spinning round on the spot. He fires a shot. He stops. Silence. The other 3 are trying to not make a sound. They struggle to stifle their instinctive reactions. He hasn't hit anyone. The bullet has lodged itself in a cabinet full of crystal tableware. Stephen starts spinning around again. He fires another shot. Stephen pulls off the balaclava. He sees Bob hit in the chest, motionless. Blood is splattered across the couch. Kim stares, frozen. Stephen puts down his rifle. Stephen is sitting in a Burger King with Anna and Kim. Martin walks in, limping from the bullet wound. He stares at them as he walks past and sits at a table nearby. Stephen and Anna watch Martin out of the corner of their eye. They both look haggard. Kim puts ketchup on her chips and starts wolfing them down. She looks healthy. Her parents watch her eat. When Kim has finished eating her chips, they put on their jackets and go to leave. Kim stands up, takes a quick look at Martin, and then follows her parents. She is walking normally.